So, you're thinking about putting in a raised garden bed. That's fantastic. But before you start, you're about to make a huge decision, one that's going to affect your wallet, your time, and really the whole future of your garden. In this explainer, we're going to break down the real costs to help you make the absolute smartest choice. Let's dive in.
You know, this quote right here, it really nails the biggest mistake I see gardeners make over and over again. We get so drawn to that cheap price tag on day one, right? We only focus on that initial number, and we totally forget about the hidden costs that are just waiting for us a few years down the road.
So I've got to ask you, think about it for a second. Is your new garden going to be a one-time investment that literally pays you back with fresh food for years and years? Or is it going to become this sneaky subscription service, a recurring bill that pops up every few seasons, demanding more of your money and more of your precious weekend time? The choice you make right now determines the answer.
And really, that choice, it almost always boils down to these two big players. Over on one side, you've got wood. It's the traditional choice, it's classic, and hey, a lot of people love that natural look. But, as we're about to see, that tradition comes with some serious long-term problems. And on the other side, you've got these modern metal beds. Think of them as a performance-oriented solution, something that's really built for the long haul. Okay, so right off the bat, I know what you're probably thinking. Wood is way cheaper, right? I mean, that's what everyone assumes, but let's actually challenge that idea. We're going to dig into the real numbers, and you might be in for a bit of a shock. All right, take a look at this table. Sure, if you only look at the material price, the cedar seems a little bit cheaper. But, and this is a big but, what about your time? Building a wood bed means hours of measuring, cutting, assembling. If you say your weekend time is worth, let's say, a modest $25 an hour, the total cost for that cheaper wood bed suddenly becomes more expensive than the metal bed that you just bolt together. And just like that, the whole wood is cheaper myth is busted before you even buy your first bag of soil. Your time has real value. Don't forget that. And when you factor it in, metal actually comes out as the smarter financial choice right from day one. But here's the thing. That year one cost, that's not even the real story. The real financial trap with wood doesn't show up right away. Now, it's sneaky. It waits. So let's fast forward a bit and look at the 10-year picture, because that's where things get really interesting. Yeah, I call this the wood replacement trap, and it is a real pain. Here's how it goes. You build your beautiful bed, you're so proud of it, then a few years go by, maybe year 4, and it's starting to rot and fall apart, so you have to tear the whole thing out, go buy new lumber, and build it all over again. Then guess what happens 4 years after that? You're doing the exact same thing. It's this predictable, super frustrating, and expensive cycle. And here is what that trap does to your bank accounts. Look at these numbers. By year 6, after you've already had to rebuild once, you spent double on wood what the metal bed cost you initially. By year 10, you're looking at over $700 for that cheaper wood bed, while the metal bed owner, well, they're still at their original $210 investment. The numbers really don't lie. So what does that difference really look like as a return on your investment? It's a massive 300%. By choosing metal, you're not just buying a garden bed. You are literally buying yourself out of the guaranteed future costs and headaches of rebuilding it again and again. And listen, it is not just about the money. That's only half the story. Choosing wood comes with this whole other set of problems. You know, the kind of headaches that just make you want to throw your trowel down and wonder why you started this whole thing in the first place. I mean, just think about it for a second. First, when that wood bed rots and the sides start to bow out, poof, there goes all that amazing, expensive soil you've been building up for years. Next, you got to get rid of all that rotten wood, and your city might even charge you disposal fees. Then you've got the pest problem. Rotten wood right next to your house is basically a dinner bell for termites. And if you think, I'll just use pressure-treated wood, well, then you run the risk of nasty chemicals leaching into the soil where you're growing your family's food. No thank you. Okay, to really bring this all home, let me tell you a quick story. It's about 2 real-life neighbors down in Austin, Texas. And it's a perfect real-world example of exactly what we're talking about. So, let's meet John and Sarah. Back in 2018, John went the traditional route. He spent $800 on 4 cedar beds. Sarah, his neighbor, she chose metal beds. She spent just a little bit more, $900. So on the surface, their initial costs were pretty darn close. Okay, now let's jump in a time machine and fast forward 6 years to today. This This is where the story gets really good. So what happened? Well, last spring, John's cedar beds were completely shot, totally rotted through. And with lumber prices having gone way up since he first built them, it cost him another $1,100 and 2 entire weekends to rebuild everything. His total spending is now up to $1,900. And Sarah? Well, her beds look basically brand new after a quick spray with a hose. Her total spending is still exactly what it was on day one, $900. So get this, Sarah is literally $1,000 ahead right now simply because of the choice she made from the very beginning. That is the incredible power of thinking beyond that initial price tag. All right, I know there's a big question hanging out there. It's the one I get all the time. But wait a minute, won't a metal bed get super hot and just cook my plant's roots in the summer? It is a totally fair question. So let's just tackle it head on right now. So let's do a little fact check. The myth is that they overheat the soil. The fact is, the special alu-zinc metal used in these high-quality beds actually reflects sunlight away. It's like a mirror for the heat. The soil inside actually stays cooler than in a dark plastic pot or even a thick wooden bed that absorbs all that heat. And that other myth, that they don't last? Nope. These materials are rated to go for over 20 years before you even see any significant corrosion. Okay, so let's recap. We've looked at the upfront cost. We've seen the 10-year replacement trap. We've talked about all those hidden headaches, and we just busted the biggest myths out there. So, it's time to bring it all together for the final verdict on your smartest garden investment. Look, if you're serious about this, if you're what I call a forever gardener, metal is just the logical choice. It really comes down to 3 key things. 1. Stability. The amazing, delicate ecosystem in your soil can thrive, totally undisturbed for decades. 2. Health. You can grow truly organic food with zero fear of chemical contamination. And 3. Economy. It's simple. You pay once and you are done. No more having to explain to your spouse why you need another $500 for the garden, again. So at the end of the day, it really all boils down to this one simple question you have to ask yourself. Are you building a temporary garden for just this season, or are you building a permanent foundation for the next 20 years of harvesting and enjoyment? The choice is yours. My advice? Choose wisely.